So Gopuram is like the pyramidal structure. So if you look at an aerial view of a Gopuram, it's almost like a pyramid. One interesting thing that I noticed is Ganapati Stapati holds a rishi as the one who gave all the agamas, and his name is Brahma Rishi Mayan. And Mayan is the one used in South America as well, who has the whole Mayan culture.
Oh, the Mayan calendar.
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, we want to map that the Saptarishis' work is there around the world, not just in India. It's India, it's left. Even that is slowly shrinking. If we are forgetting for why these temples are being created, that means we are as well forgetting the science as well. So at some point, even the pyramids were created for the same purpose, where they were energy centers.
Whom do you think created the pyramids? Did Saptarishis have a role in that?
Yes, definitely.
You think Saptarishis had a role in creating
Yes,
the pyramids?
definitely. Not directly, but they definitely passed on. So in Native American culture, see, pyramids in Egypt are recent than the ones in Mexico. The Mexican pyramids are much older. So the kings in Egypt, probably, this is my conjecture, that they went to Mexico or South America, because Mexico is just a small part of the South American part. There are many documentaries online as well and books written on this. A shaman, a medicine man, an elder of a clan identifies, because of his visions and all that, he identifies a particular child that this will be the next elder or the shaman of this clan. And then he's kept in a pyramid, in a small chamber. There's a huge pyramid. And in that, pyramids used to be layered with special crystals, gold plating and all that. Today we just see rocks, but it used to be. That's how they say. He used to be kept in a chamber for 6 months, 8 months, brought out for a week or two, again put back. Food will be taken in by this present shaman or the elder, and he will talk to him. It's dark, he just has a lamp there. He's talking to him about the whole world, the creation, mountains, trees, animals. This child has not seen those things, but has to visualize everything based on what is being told to him. Certain cognition is happening there. When his 12-year period is complete, he is brought out and then shown those things, but not connecting it with anything. He's just taken out to see these things. This person now recognizes and he sees. The seers, the word seer, what does he see is totally different from how we see it. Because right from childhood we are shown the object and said, this is apple, this is mango, whatever. This child has not seen anything, but has heard so many things. And now when he goes and sees, because he has visualized many things, but the visual part is less, more of cognition has happened. Now when he goes and sees, he doesn't attach any meaning to it, he just sees. Now he sees something else, beyond what we would just see the physical part of it. He becomes a seer. He can see more than what the other people in the clan can see. So he gradually becomes the shaman of that clan. This part is there very much in the Veda Patashala training. The Brahmin kids who are put in 5-6 years, 10 years, they go through this. They don't see the outside world at all. Even today, they don't get to play with the gadgets that our kids are playing. So they go through this whole thing and they are supposed to come out. But again, there also the knowledge is being lost. The Acharya is supposed to come out as an empty crucible so that when he say Avahanam, the devata should come within him. If you have seen Kerala rituals, they'll just do Mudra Puja. They don't utter a lot of mantras. The Mudra Puja, before they sit in the Garbhagriha, they sit outside, first cleanse this whole system. Because they already made themselves empty, they're cleansing it. This is a daily process. Cleanse it and invoke the devata within them. They go into the Garbhagriha and do mudras to transfer that prana into the murti or the vigraha. So this aspect of energy-wise, invoking a devata and transmitting is across everywhere in the world. So ritual-wise, when I observed right from Indonesia, New Zealand, of course it came from Papua New Guinea and all that. You'll see the rituals have a common thing, which is Aborigines of Australia. Even they smear these white, how the Shivites of South put, like that the Aborigines still do during certain rituals. The spirits that they talk about, this is the indigenous cultures. And Saptarishis have a very great impact on the indigenous cultures.
If you enjoyed watching this content, you can watch the full in-depth video on the Body to Being podcast hosted on Shloka YouTube channel. To continue watching shorter pieces of this content, you can subscribe to Shloka Clips on YouTube. Don't forget to like this video and follow us on Spotify. Pranam.